girls, welcome to the preview and predicted 1 to 11 for Arsenal against Chelsea this weekend. We didn't get off to the best of starts, did we? Manchester City, we could not have had a harder game. But looking at it on reflection, we didn't do as bad as some people are making out. It is what it is. Manchester City are the finished article where we are a work in progress. Now, I'm looking back over the last couple of days. I've watched the game a few times and I'm seeing more and more little pieces that I never noticed at the time, which, you know, fill me with a bit of confidence for the future. It is going to take time. Unai Emery is not a miracle worker and he's not going to change all the bad habits overnight. There are a lot of bad habits. Gary Neville summed it up perfectly when he said that this is not, you know, just trying to fix something that's happened overnight. This is 2, 3, 4 bad transfer windows that Arsenal have had, which we are trying to get over. A lot of players that we brought in that are just not good enough and they're on high wages. We're trying to shift out of the door. The likes of Lucas Perez, for example, £90,000 a week. Who the hell signed that one off? But, you know, we're trying to adjust things. And at the same time, we're trying to, you know, do a new style of play, a completely different change. And not just that, it's everything within the club that's changed, from the backroom staff, medical staff. Everything's completely different and it's going to take time. Now, I looked at some stats this week of managers when they first came into their clubs and what they done within their first season. Pep Guardiola, have a look at Manchester City right now. I know they've got unbelievable funds and everything else, but in Pep Guardiola's first season at Manchester City, they finished third. Okay, they never went and done anything in that, you know, season. I remember there was a game when they conceded 4 against Everton, and there were problems. And I remember in that first year, everyone was questioning Pep Guardiola's tactics of playing out from the back. Remember John Stones, he was getting absolutely crucified because he was taking time to adapt to that new style. Now look at Manchester City. Yes, they have got the funds and whatnot, but it shows. Give the man a bit of patience. Jurgen Klopp, first season at Liverpool, okay, the real first one, he wasn't there until around about August time after Brendan Rodgers was sacked, but they finished 8th that year. When he had his full pre-season and he could start to implement his ideas, they finished 4th place. So again, never went and set the world alight in the first year. Needed time to get rid of the dead wood, needed time to get, you know, his own players in and his own philosophy. Now look at Liverpool. Same with Manchester City, the 2 best teams in the Premier League right now, in my opinion. Just goes to show, doesn't it? We have to look at Mauricio Pochettino at Spurs. Same thing with him as well. It's not as easy as you think. And so that's why we need to give Unai Emery the chance to change things around, and for everyone to start adapting and start getting used to the style of play. So, but there we go. Now, in terms of Chelsea, I believe that we don't need to go into this game with any kind of fear. We shouldn't go into it worried. We shouldn't go into it, you know, feeling like, you know, they're the better side than us, because they're not. That's my honest opinion. They're not a better side than us. They haven't beaten us in their last 6 matches. So that goes to show that there's not a lot between us. There's been draws in there. We've got the wins, including a cup final. So it just shows that on any given day, we can beat them. And I don't think there's a lot between us. They finished 5th last year. We finished 6th. They've got a new manager this year, and they're going to have to go through the same kind of, you know, things that we're going through. New manager, new players, new ideas, new philosophy. So, yeah, it's all there, and, you know, we could easily go out there and win this game. But at the same time, we could easily go and lose this game. But, you know, I look at Chelsea's opening game and they were lucky with the team that they faced, to be quite honest with you. They played Huddersfield, and with all due respect, Huddersfield are going to be fighting relegation this season, and Chelsea went out and won the game comfortably 3-0. There's no way Chelsea would have been that comfortable and won 3-0 if their opening game was Man City. just wasn't going to happen, was it? So they had a bit of luck in terms of who they played in comparison to us. But like I said, go into the game with no fear. And I think that we could go and get ourselves 3 points. I believe that Eden Hazard will be back for this game. He came off the bench in the game against Huddersfield. There's no way that he's going to start this game on the bench. No way at all. So, yeah, like I said, he will come back in. Chelsea have got some quality players in there and they're going to cause us some problems. But at the same time, we can cause some problems. So it'll be a very interesting game. Now, in terms of my 1 to 11, I am going to go with what I believe Unai Emery will pick for this game. Not my personal preference, just what I believe he will go with. In goal, Cech. Not my personal preference. Let's get that one straight, from the beginning. But I believe Unai Emery will stick with him for a little while longer. If these problems persist with the way he's distributing the ball at his feet and whatnot, then I think change might be made. But I feel that after one game, it's not going to happen. And over the course of the game against Manchester City, Cech made some unbelievable saves. Unbelievable. But again, the problem was his distribution and the ball at his feet. Absolute heart attack moments. Now, in the right back position, we're going to stick with Hector Bellerin. Now, eventually, I would like to see Lichtsteiner go in that position because I think that he is the better player. But as I'll get into it in a moment, I feel that needs must and Lichtsteiner will be elsewhere. So for this game, I'm going to go with Hector Bellerin. I don't think he had a bad game against Manchester City. Not overly great, but not poor. An okay game. So for this one, I'm going to stick him in there and keep him in at right back. In central defence, first of all, I'm going to go with Sokratis. Now, I see a lot of people criticising his performance against Man City, but I don't think he had a bad game whatsoever. I thought he'd done all right. And I think when you look over the balance of play, he never really put a foot wrong. You look at the chances Aguero had, very limited. The one chance he really had was because of a mistake by Guendouzi. And I thought Sokratis, for his debut, he wasn't too bad. So I'm going to stick him in there. And yeah, we'll see what he does in this one. Next to him, I'm going to go with Mustafi. Again, need his experience and we will see how he handles this one. Of course, they're probably coming up against the likes of Morata, who I don't rate whatsoever. I think he's absolute pony. So be interesting to see how we handle him. But I'm going to go with Mustafi there. In the left back role, I think this is too soon for Monreal. He hasn't had any game time whatsoever. And I feel that he needs a few minutes before he comes into this kind of game with this kind of intensity. So I'm going to stick with Lichtsteiner in at left back. Not my preferred position I'd like him to play, but he can do a job. And as he showed against Man City, he can do the job very, very well. So for this one, I'm going to stick Lichtsteiner there. Moving into the midfield area, and this is where I feel some changes are going to need to be made and shuffled around a little bit. And first of all, I'm going to go with Lucas Torreira. As far as I'm concerned, this guy has to start. He's got enough minutes under his belt now. We saw what he can do when he came on against Man City. Quality little player. And I feel that he's going to add more still to our backline. And goes without question, he has to start this game. And I actually think that Unai Emery will start him. Now, alongside him, I feel that Unai Emery is going to put Granit Xhaka there. Now, you know my thoughts on him. I do rate the guy, but I feel after his performance the other day, he should probably not be in this game. But I'm actually going with what Unai Emery, I believe he will pick. And I feel that he will put him there. You listen to some of the things he said about Xhaka and whatnot. And I just feel that Emery's going to stick with him. And I've been saying all along, I would like to see Xhaka with Torreira. So this is a perfect chance and a perfect opportunity to see that. And that's what I believe that Unai Emery is going to go with. Next place in the midfield area, I'm actually going to go with Guendouzi. Good performance against Man City, one of our better players. And yeah, like I was saying, he made some mistakes and he's going to do that at 19 years old. There was that one with Aguero when he let him through. And he's got to try and cut that side of his game out. But I feel with the added protection that's there, with the likes of Torreira and Granit Xhaka, I feel that he will be able to come more into his own. His passing range is superb. And I feel that that is key for this game. Massively key for this game. So that's exactly what I am going to go with. Next up, we're going to go with that kind of number 10 role. And this is where you've got to play him. Have to put him in this role. And I'm going to go with Mesut Ozil. Now, he didn't have the greatest of games against Manchester City. We all know that. But I felt he was more effective once he moved from the wing into that number 10 role. That's where I feel he caused problems. Now, in this game, he's going to have to show what he can do. He's going to have to step up. If he doesn't perform, then more questions are going to start getting asked about him. So it's a big opportunity for Mesut to answer his critics and put in a massive, massive performance. So in that kind of role, I'm going to go with Mesut Ozil. Next up, going out on the wing and giving us some much needed width, I'm going to go with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I felt he was very isolated in the game against Manchester City. And again, he only seemed to come into it a little bit more once Lacazette come off the bench. And then he started to thrive. Then he started to get space. Then he started to look dangerous. And I feel for this game, we're going to have to play them two up front. So you already know what's coming up front anyway. But yeah, Aubameyang, he can stretch Chelsea and he can pull their midfield and their defence out wider to try and create those spaces in the middle. So that's what I'm going to go with on that left-hand side, and that's Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Now, up front as the main man, I said it already, I'm going to go with Alexandre Lacazette. Absolutely superb when he came on against Manchester City. Put his body on the line, got himself stuck in, and that is what I want to see in this game. He's going to really have to toughen this one up and fight for the team, and I believe he can. And I believe he can lead that line. And along with the likes of Aubameyang, he can cause a lot of problems. So that's what I'm going to go with in my striking role. Now, that is the preview and that is the predicted 1 to 11. Now, you might look at the 1 to 11 and think Aaron Ramsey's not there. Now, I don't know. I'm not too sure. I've already said that I think that we should, decide as to what's going to happen with him. Is he going to sign his new contract? Is he going to piss around and let it run down and whatnot? And if he is, then I wouldn't play him. What I will say is that if Emery does decide to play him, then he will probably play him instead of Guendouzi in that role, and he will go as one of the three behind Lacazette. But it remains to be seen. It's a big call to put Guendouzi in there ahead of Ramsey, but after his performance the other day, I'm not too sure. I really ain't. So it'd be interesting. And like I said with the preview of the Man City game, it's really nice to not kind of know what we're going to have, what kind of team selection is going to happen. Because whereas before under Wenger, we kind of knew what was going to happen. We knew who was going where. And of course, from that lineup the other day, one of the players that will miss out is Henrik Mkhitaryan. I felt he had a very ineffective game, and I feel that he's going to come out for this one. And of course, Lacazette's going to come in there and switching roles with the likes of Aubameyang. So, as usual, make sure you let me know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree. Let me know what your 1 to 11 will be. Let me know your score prediction as well. I'll be back on Saturday evening with the matchday vlog. I'll also be doing a player rating the day after. And yeah, hopefully we can get our first points on the board under Unai Emery. Let's go into this game with no fear. And hopefully we can pick up 3 points. I'll see you lot soon. I'm out of here.